Often on social media, in a joking way, you see comments mentioning the meteorite, that hypothetical disaster that's supposed to wipe out an ineffective and foolish humanity. Sure, the joke on social media is funny too, but deep down it comes from a somewhat cynical, somewhat misanthropic attitude of some people who say, "I don't like people." Which is obviously a bit of a paradox, since the person writing or saying that is a person themselves. Or maybe it's not entirely a paradox, because when we generalize our distrust toward all of humanity, we implicitly include ourselves in that negative judgment. And as we know from paranoid attitudes, admitting that we don't trust people also means admitting that we don't completely trust ourselves either. As Jung suggested in his reflections on the personal shadow, we often project onto others what we can't accept in ourselves. But even more problematic is the implicit message we convey. If people are untrustworthy and we are people, then others shouldn't trust us either. This isn't an Aristotelian syllogism, but rather a necessary reflection on the consistency of our thinking. Connecting back to the concept of the minestrone effect, which I discussed in a video I made some time ago, when we say that people are terrible or that people are untrustworthy, we're engaging in a dangerous mental operation. In other words, we let our specific negative experiences fall into a category that includes about 8 billion people. This is a classic example of improper generalization, meaning a statistical inference based on a sample that is far too limited and personal to represent the entire human population. The solution to this collective bias lies in specificity. If we need to express resentment, it's more appropriate to direct it towards specific people who have actually harmed us. Giving a name and a face to those who have hurt us is an exercise in mental clarity that allows us to recognize the individuality of our negative experiences and avoid unfair generalizations about humanity, while also keeping open the possibility of trust in new relationships. So, I invite you to try a simple, free therapeutic exercise. Write down on a sheet of paper the specific names of the people who have hurt you. This process, which is actually similar to the externalization techniques used in narrative therapy, will allow you to clearly see how limited the number of people who have had a negative impact on your life is, compared to all the people who exist or even just those you have met. Our perception of others is inevitably filtered through the lens of our experiences, expectations, and wounds. Recognizing this dynamic is the first step toward a more genuine and compassionate understanding of both others and ourselves. See you next time.